Come on! Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the world, I am George Massey, glad to be here, and I just saw the movie MINDHORN. Number one, it is not quite the film that the trailers make it out to be. The trailers make out that it's a 70s TV star who's gone down the pan and he's essentially trying to solve a real crime as the character that he played in a 70s show.
TV cop helps real cops solve crime.
Let's save some lives.
That's how the film kind of begins, but it does not unravel that way. That's just a part of the movie. It's a little bit more inventive, not particularly inventive, but a bit more inventive than that. And ultimately, it's just sort of what you would expect. One thing that is a surprise is that it's produced by Ridley Scott. That came as a little bit of a surprise when I saw Scott-free films at the beginning, and then on the end credits it said produced by Ridley Scott. In terms of its tone, it kind of reminds me of Edgar Wright's Hot Fuzz, and it's similar in terms of its quality. Well-made film. It's not as good as Edgar Wright's other comedies like Shaun of the Dead or Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And I know this film has nothing to do with Edgar Wright, but for me, Hot Fuzz is Edgar Wright's weakest film, but it's still a good film. And this feels kind of like that. In fact, personally, I actually enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Hot Fuzz, but that might just be because I had incredibly high expectations when I saw Hot Fuzz. I actually very briefly met Edgar Wright, and he was hyping up Hot Fuzz, so when I saw that movie, I thought it was going to be amazing. Anyway, all of that aside, this has a similar tone to Hot Fuzz. It's funny, it's pretty clever, the humour is not stupid. I did laugh out loud quite a few times. I would say that one flaw of this movie is that it never takes any time to be anything but a comedy. What I mean by that is The Simpsons, for example, is one of my favourite shows. It's an amazing show and it's a comedy. But if you go back to the original Simpsons, there were times when it could be sad, when it could be serious, it could be hilarious, and it could be a tearjerker. And that's because it was controlled enough. And also, if we're going to talk about The Simpsons, the head writer in the original show was a guy called Sam Simon, and he was very strict that a scene did not always have to be funny. It could sometimes be serious or sad or anything else. It could be frightening. So this movie suffers a little bit from trying to be funny all the time, all the way through. That being said, I did not expect it to be anything else. It kind of does exactly what it says on the tin. The 70s stuff at the beginning, the throwback stuff, which is a little bit reminiscent of David Hasselhoff, like Knight Rider kind of vibe. I loved that. I actually wish there was more of that in this film.
Special Agent Bruce P. Mindhorn could literally see truth.
Your mouth's saying no, but your brain's saying yes.
You can't hide the truth from Mindhorn.
There's actually a bit where he's doing these moves, these ridiculous 70s kind of capoeira martial arts moves, and they change the camera style so it's more colourful, there's a nicer hue, and then it cuts and it goes back to the normal colour of the film. It would have been better, I think, if they actually used more of that vibrancy, more of that nice colour. Especially the 70s when they shot a lot of that television on film. Film looked very beautiful. This movie does not look beautiful, but again, who went into it expecting it to look like Blade Runner? No one's expecting this to be an extraordinary looking film. But anyway, it's good, it's funny, and I think if you're looking for an English comedy, put it this way, I did enter thinking this could be fucking terrible, this could be a god-awful film that is not funny at all, and it definitely was not. I do not in any way regret going to see this film.
But I never promised you forever.
It's not my style.
No, no, no. You can't handcuff the wind, and if you try, you're gonna fail. It's like trying to put thunder in jail. You can't handcuff loosen up your grip, girl. You're holding on a little too tight.